Hello and welcome to the More Than Roommates podcast. I'm Dan, here with my roommate Graham. Graham, how are you doing?
You know, I'm doing all right.
Yeah.
All things considered. It's been a very emotional week for me and my family. So.
Yeah. Do you want to share?
I think I'd rather maybe talk about it down the road. Maybe we can do a whole episode about it.
Okay.
I don't know. It's still very fresh, you know.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, we've just been taking things kind of slow here. It's been kind of a lot going on in our personal lives.
Yes.
Just a lot of changes and a lot of stuff going on. So
just like the wheel of change is just spinning and I
Yep.
don't know.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Just like you get comfortable and then
Things
life
happen.
just kind of kicks you a different direction, you know?
Yeah.
But there's
sure.
nothing you can do but roll with it. And
Yeah.
just kind of keep rolling with your homies.
Yeah. And as we kind of talked about earlier today, you just got to not care. There's a lot going on that you can't control. And as much as you can, just roll with it.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we've been kind of going through it, but we wanted to keep things light, you know.
Yeah.
This is kind of our escape. So, we wanted to thank you guys. We hit 500 subscribers on our YouTube channel, which is awesome.
We have hit 5 times
our goal,
actual goal for the year. So
cool. And we're under half the year left. So, but it's been an awesome first year, and we're 30 episodes down. This is episode 31. Wow. So something I wanted to talk about today is something I've been seeing a little bit. I keep up with the YouTube controversy, and a lot of people are talking about MrBeast. So he is a huge YouTuber. He has over 200 million subscribers.
It's pretty big.
And he does these like extreme challenges, and all of it is to win money. So basically his channel has just turned into like a what are those, like not a reality show but a game show. And so people are like, the controversy starts that his challenges, sometimes they go for a long period of time, but people are like, okay, is this for amusement or is this borderline like going into like torturing people?
For money. Not a good look. But.
Yeah. It's so, you know, like he even did like the Squid Games challenge.
Actually, what I was going to make that comment, like based on some clips and things I've seen. Yeah. Reminded me a little bit like a obviously a watered down.
Yeah, no one is dying, but it's all like, and it's so ironic because that's the whole premise of Squid Game, is like these people are desperate for money that they'll risk their lives for their rich's enjoyment. So I watched what I've known of him. It's kind of hard to not know who he is. He's marketed himself really well. He has a lot of different things going on. He has like snacks, and he has the MrBeast burger. So he's diversified his portfolio, but his videos each get like 100 million views. Like it's just like crazy numbers. And so I'm sure if people
must enjoy it then, you know?
Yes. So while we were getting ready, I watched one of his episodes, and it is very fast paced. Like within the first minute, a guy had already won $100,000.
Wow.
And very minimal ad reads. Like it was in the middle of the challenge, and he's like turns to the camera and he's like, I want to tell you about this app. And I'm like, wow, the guy is behind him just like
ad lib pretty much. Wow.
Not even but it's just so fast paced. Like they're keeping the action going. So it's a very good format. But I want to read through some of his like craziest challenges just to kind of give you guys a scope of like what some of these people are doing.
Yeah, tell us more about who he is.
Yeah, so
I'm sure you've heard of him.
He's got lots of money, so he's able to just up the ante and make these videos just higher budget, like, and then elaborate. The challenges. Yes, like he put 10 million Legos at a friend's house, spending 24 hours straight underwater challenge.
Ooh.
That doesn't
even make sense.
Going through, it's not all goofing around with friends. Some goes full. Stupid, dangerous, attempted to sit underwater for a full 24 hours. He sat at the bottom of a backyard pool with some type of bucket contraption that allowed him to breathe. Unfortunately, things went a bit dangerous. Battleships in real life. Would you sit in snakes for $10,000?
No.
I filled my brother's house with slime and bought him a new one. I spent 50 hours buried alive.
Okay, can I ask you?
Mm-hmm.
So our nightly routine, like before bed, we love to just get on the TikTok.
Yes.
Sometimes the Instagram Reels feed, but mostly we're on Dan's TikTok page.
Yes.
I remember recently watching a video where someone like flooded their house completely.
Yes.
Was that MrBeast?
That was not MrBeast, but very similar style. Yeah. And that's kind of what he does.
People are trying to...
So one of them that has like really stirred the controversy is he was paying a guy like $1,000 a day to stay and live in a convenience store. And the guy...
Like overnight?
He can't leave. Every day he stays in there, he gets like another sum of money. And he said he'd been there.
Is it like a 24-hour?
Yes. The guy has to live in this store. He can't leave. And if he leaves, however much money he's accumulated, that's it. Well, the guy must need the money because he was in there for like over a month. And then the MrBeast was like, okay, I'm going to start like blacking out the windows. Like they kind of up the ante. Which kind of makes sense. But it's just like, holy cow. Obviously, this person needs the money if they're willing to just lock themselves away. And I know you've seen those movies where they have those crazy challenges and you're like, could you put yourself through that?
Ooh.
And and then also thinking about it, like there are game shows where they do stuff like this. And so where do you think it crosses the line? Or do you think this is normal? Or not normal, but do you think it's okay? Do you think it's torture?
I don't know. I guess like I probably honestly have to see a little bit more.
Okay.
Different videos, but it like we were watching one, recently too with where they like locked everyone in a room and they had like a pod or something.
Mm-hmm.
And they were supposed to stay in there, I think, for as long as they could, and they were like representing a different age or something. I don't know. I just think it's like it's borderline. It's just like you said, it's for their amusement, and apparently a lot of other people that tune into it are amused by it too. But I don't know. Can it? It's still. Someone has made a choice to do that. You know what I mean? They should have known what the rules were, right?
Yeah, they do. So, they agree to it. Yeah, that's where I'm kind of like, it is good entertainment. The people have agreed to be on this show. I mean, they could feasibly quit at any time. And so it
sounds like, they've had an option to walk away.
Yeah, and it's kind of at this point where he's like, you spend money to make money. He's got these giant schemes, so he's probably got a list of people that are lined up that are willing to do this. So I don't know.
Yeah.
And the other controversy that he's got in is like, he dug 100 wells in Africa.
Oh, yeah.
And people were saying,
there's controversy.
There's always controversy. He even posted before he did it that he knew people would be upset, but he's like, the premise is that like if I can do it, these big corporations could. Yeah. But there was someone in Africa that was like, one, this perpetuates stereotypes that they don't have access to water, and two, he was like, well, they're not looking for. This isn't a long-term solution. The well might not last for 5, 10 plus years, but again, it's like like doing something at least.
Do you know anything about like the community? I mean, it sounds like obviously. People would be like traveling for water is what I would assume.
I mean, even if the well doesn't last for if 30
they could make
years,
life easier for a community for 5-10 years,
it could maybe help them thrive.
Yes,
and it's like, what are you guys doing? And I think he also planted a ton of trees one year. Like he does all these. It's kind of like the Ellen DeGeneres effect, where like she's lived this life of philanthropy, and it's like at some point. Things turned, and that was because of her actions. I'm not saying her departure was unjustified, but it's like you get this big lens put on you, so everything you do. I think for Halloween this year, he like bought, and a kid came trick-or-treating and he gave them the keys to the house, and everyone was like, he gave the family the keys to the house. Wow. And everyone was like, oh, well, I bet the family can't pay, like now they have to pay the taxes on the house. It's not just like here's the house. You have to really, and so it's like, gosh.
Think it all the way through.
I know. Yeah. But it's like, again, the people could agree or not. So it's like, I don't know. He's kind of
They
got.
could also sell it too, and
Yeah.
then if they can afford that, it would still
Give them some
give
money.
them money to afford a different place potentially. You know.
Yeah. But do you
People
think
are always gonna hate no matter what you do?
Yes, and especially when you make these big moves and
once
you're.
you sorry to interrupt.
No, yeah, you're fine.
I was just gonna say, once you have so much wealth and fame, like people are gonna come for you. It's just kind of a fact of life, it seems. You know.
Yeah, you know, at some point you got to ignore it and just like do what you feel like is the right call and what you can morally keep yourself sound. But
yeah, why do people care how he spends money then? Like, especially if he's helping. You know.
Yes.
Yeah. Seems a little. I don't know, a little far-fetched, but
well, and some of the challenges though, I will say, were kind of extreme. Like it was almost like not Fear Factor, but this guy was like in a tube and he was like unlocking locks and he was underwater and he had to keep going deeper and then turning back to get a breath of air and then he would make it further, and I'm like,
ooh, that's kind of see, at that point when you're playing with someone's life, like something could very easily go wrong in that situation, and I would say that would be where I would have kind of a personal issue. Like I would never put myself in that situation. But yeah, like you said, if someone is desperate for money, I mean, it's easier and faster than working retail or getting a job, you know, somewhere when you can get that much money potentially in one chunk, you know.
I think something that might save him or be helpful is the challenges where it's not all or nothing, you know, like where it's like the last person to leave this circle that I drew in the ground gets $1 million, but it's like the one that I watched, it was a challenge and every challenge he won was $100,000. Now, if they lost all the money. But after each challenge, they had the option to be like, okay, I'm done.
Almost, I'll take. Like, who wants to be a millionaire?
Yeah, exactly. So I think would protect him in a lot of situations. But these like psychological ones, like he tweeted, I think that like I want to put 2 people in a room together for a month and just like two random people. And if they can survive the month, not survive, but if they last in the room for a month, then they both win a huge sum of money. And it's like, gosh, it's like you're going to mess with people psychologically for entertainment value.
Yeah. Or it could be like The Circle, you know, like shows we've watched on Netflix. Yeah. And it could be something that they would end up liking though too, you know.
Yeah, I know. And that's where it's like, what is the difference between The Circle and this? You know,
where do you draw the line? Yeah, one big production company, you know, and it's on Netflix, you know.
Yeah.
So at that point, like, is it just socially acceptable automatically? You know?
Right, because it's a big corporation. Right, not traditional.
And a big corporation is probably, like, scrutinize the law, you know?
Yeah.
Although I'm sure MrBeast, you know, at this point, like, I'm sure he has, like, a whole team of people that's helping.
He does. Yeah. And he has, like, this whole warehouse, this whole, like, section of land that they filmed this stuff. Like, this one, they were inside, they were outside, they were underwater, and it's all on his property. So he has a production studio at this point. Like, a lot of the, you know, there was one where, like, the walls were coming in, and it was, of course, all CGI. So it's a little bit of, like, you know, there aren't really spikes coming at him, but it's pretty crazy. I don't know. Would you ever compete on something like that?
Probably not. I'm boring. Like, I don't know.
If you had to compete on a show, what would you do?
It'd either be like a game show or something like The Circle, like something very easy.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna say it would be easy to be away from,
but
like,
not physically tasking.
But yeah, I probably wouldn't, like, you are not gonna catch me on like Survivor or something.
And see, that's for something I don't want. Like, I don't want a brain challenge. I want something that it's just like, can you balance? Can you make it through this obstacle course? Like, I don't know. I think that is a little more
mind over matter almost.
Yeah.
And, coordination, I guess, for sure too.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But so we had talked before, like, would Survivor still be like your number one choice if you were to go on like a TV show or something for money? Or would you want to do something like a quicker cash grab, like the MrBeast effect?
Yeah, I think Survivor probably because you get such an experience out of it, even if you lose. Like I'm looking for that life experience of surviving and outsmarting people and just being out in the elements for a month. Like I want the whole experience. I don't necessarily, I mean, of course I want $1 million, but I know it would be very unlikely.
It should be like 2 point some million at
with
this point. Like, they've been
inflation.
giving $1 million away since like the show Originator came out in like the early 2000s, right?
Yes, I know. The prize pool has not
Jeff.
increased. Yeah, Jeff, give us some more money. For sure.
But yeah, no, the circle would for sure be my thing. Like,
yeah, the circle would
you
be
get
fun.
you get like the popularity contest kind of. You get the
Social
mind
media game, yeah.
social media game, because if you don't, I think we've talked about this probably on here before. I don't know what context, but if you haven't seen it, you can make like a profile, just like a social media profile, and other people on the show also make a profile, and the circle will like connect you with these people, and basically you make strategic connections and try to bond with people and try to be like the highest rated person so that you can kind of move forward in the game for sure. And I think that would be something that I would want to do, just with kind of my personality and whatnot. And it's like you're living in a little apartment by yourself too for a few weeks. Or something. I think it'd be kind of fun in a way. But I also would get stir crazy too, though. I don't know. Do you think like if you were out in the wild that long, would you get homesick, or would you start to feel like, I don't know, like what do you think you would be like like mid Survivor?
So I kind of, going back to our last episode, I kind of got a little taste of it when we went backpacking for those 2 weeks. There were no cell phones. It was just our group. Of course, we would pass by people, but again, we were on a time crunch, so it was never long conversations with anyone. So you do get a little bit of, it's crazy, kind of like whatever was happening right before we left, that was all you kind of had to think about for 2 weeks. Like whatever was pop culture or something. And there was one thing, like I'm not a big sweets person, but I was craving some ice cream. I don't know why. Wow. I just wanted some Haagen-Dazs, like sorbet.
Your body said, Dan,
I know.
You're lactose intolerant.
Yeah. I was like, I'm tired of this granola for 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
And I just remember just every day I was like, I just want some ice cream. And so that's all I thought about for like a long time.
Did it get you through?
It did. I would always say, like, whenever everyone in the troops, it became a thing, but every time I would put my backpack on after we took a break, I would be like, 2 Haagen-Dazs, and we would start marching. So then like every day everyone would be like, 2 Haagen-Dazs, and we would just start marching every day.
Did you actually have like Haagen-Dazs, like the actual ice cream store there in the Lou?
I'm not sure. I don't know why. I don't know. It's just like we were saying, like some Haagen-Dazs ice cream. Not sponsored. I wish we were. You can sponsor us, because that got me through the 2 weeks. So I think if I were on that island, you just like, I don't know, you just gotta entertain yourself in your own head, I guess. Like I kind of went through that too when I lived alone and I moved to a new city, so I didn't know anyone. So the evenings you just are kind of like, I don't know.
Exploration.
Yeah, just kind of keep yourself busy. But yeah, it is weird not having cell phones.
Yeah. Okay, I got to back the convo up just a little bit here. What would your ice cream flavor, like what were you picturing in your mind? Like, what flavor? I
love like kind of fruity ice cream, or like sorbet, like sherbet kind of thing. So yeah, I was definitely thinking of like a raspberry ice cream, not with like chunks of raspberry, but like the artificial stuff flavor. I want it creamy. That was what. Would yours be like chocolatey?
Oh yeah, just throw like all the chocolate up in that.
Another thing that was interesting was like we sang a lot, and like I like to sing around the house, but like singing in front of other people is not my forte. But again, there's no entertainment for 2 weeks at a time. All you do is just talk to each other. So we would all like, we sang Carry On My Wayward Son. Like we would all just like be on the trails just singing together with 14 people. It's a lot of people to just like sing in front of. But again, it's like, what else do we have to do? Like I've run out of stories, and we're just walking for 8 hours at a time. So let's start a band. This is my vocal training right now.
Yeah. Philmont, Survivor, whatever, either of the two, way too exhausting for this guy.
I don't know. I think you would enjoy it.
Yeah, I like being outside too and enjoying sightseeing and stuff. But
yeah,
Survivor, that's a little much.
I know.
That just would be. We've seen how many seasons? Like we've
4 or 5
at least. Yeah. We just kind of like we had Netflix and we had like
I was
Hulu,
binging it every day.
We were just kind of jumping around from like streaming service to catch a different season, and I don't know, a lot of drama, a lot of mind games, a lot of like physical, mental.
Yeah.
Takes an Eagle Scout, I guess.
Yeah. I definitely think the food would be the challenge. Like I don't like weird food, and I don't like skinning or killing my animals.
You have to pick like a season. I don't know if they let you pick when you
No,
like,
but
do you
now
know where you're going when you apply for it?
I don't think so.
Oh, yeah.
But I think they
have to go to one that had like fruit on the island or something.
Yeah, coconuts. But I think they do a lot of rice and beans now. I don't think in the earlier seasons they did that, but everyone gets rice and beans to help them through, so it's less about.
They don't have to win the challenge anymore. Like
they do, but you have like you don't have to eat like the fish and stuff if you could make the rice and beans last.
Yeah. So. But that's again, it goes into that kind of mind space where
I know.
Like, you don't want to take off the people in your tribe, you know. They'll be like, this fool's eating all the rice and beans
because he doesn't want to get his
blowing
hands
up
dirty.
Camp.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, no.
Gosh, I know. So I got some training to do. I'm not gonna put in my application just yet.
I gotta get my finger stretched out for the circle.
Yeah, right. Well, you know, your meme game would be good in the circle, and that is the perfect segue into our segment that we did one time and forgot to bring back.
I keep forgetting about it.
It is Graham's meme of the week.
Yeah. So this week, and I like won't even tell you like how many memes and videos and things I watch like throughout the week, but my favorite one for this week, I'm just going to go ahead and pull it up, and I'll try to describe it for those of you that are just listening. For the YouTubers, we'll throw up a picture or something.
Yeah.
Can you do it on Spotify too?
Yep, Spotify has the video. Yeah, this is your time. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, listen to us or watch us on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or anywhere else.
So the meme, it's like a black and white photo. It looks like early like Instagram days, you know, where they'd have like a border filter and like a sepia, or is it sepia or sepia?
I don't know.
How do you say it?
I would say sepia.
Okay. What about?
I used to say sepia, but I think it's sepia.
Okay. This is my great grandparents in Kentucky, 2009, and then it's just like a couple, you know, like the most like emo with RAR like XD, spiky long hair, you know, the dark
with the feathered hair and stuff.
Yes, yeah.
It's like when they're like, "Oh, we found a picture of your grandparents," and it's like a Snapchat filter with the dog mouth and stuff. You know.
It's funny, yeah.
So why is that your meme of the week? Just it made you laugh?
It hits me in the the late aughts, you know.
That was very much your era.
You know, I was very emo, like personality wise. Couldn't really dress that way. You know, I went to Catholic school, and the second like your bangs would like touch, it was either, I can't remember if it was like if they would go past your eyebrow or if it would touch your nose. Like they would make you cut your hair, man. They would like send you home, even, I think, if they really wanted to like make you have a bad day. I never got sent home for it, but I tried to do this like shaggy kind of look, you know, like the Ashton Kutcher kind of hair was like big, you know, and then it was going into the emo hair, and I wanted it so bad. Couldn't do it.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You
came
rebel.
Came out like a little bowl cut kind of action.
Yeah, for sure. I went to public school, but we were kind of strict too. If your t-shirt was past your wrist, you had to tuck it in. and they would walk by and check. And I went to public school, and I was in elementary school. Every kid's T-shirt is huge on them. Like,
it's a little eyebrow
crazy.
Raising.
Oh, I know. Have I talked about this though?
I don't know.
They had a thing where at the end of lunch, they wanted 3 minutes of silence so people could finish their meals. And if you spoke during the 3 minutes of silence, you had to stand and eat in front of everyone. Again, I went to public school. This isn't like...
plot twist, MrBeast is a
principal there. I know.
Yeah.
And then it turned into, on Fridays, it was silent lunches, and that so people could read poetry or whatever. But again, the punishment was if you spoke, you had to stand and eat the rest of lunch. I'm like, this is
how do you do
insane.
That? That's so rude.
Like, I know.
You could move. I could understand like moving a student away, like if they were
make them sit by themselves.
To engage with someone. Yeah, move them.
But
somewhere
what
else,
is wrong with talking at lunch? Like that's the time to get your chit chat out.
There's I'm not saying there isn't.
Oh, I know, but I like sometimes I think back and it's like when you're a kid, you're just like, okay, well, this is odd, but I didn't realize how odd that was. I remember my brother got in trouble, and we had the same lunch shift.
Which one?
Taylor. we were only a year apart, so we had the same lunch shift, and he had to stand and eat, and I was just like, this is I was mad.
You were mad at the administration.
I was mad for him. I'm like, this is embarrassing. You're like shaming us, or like public humiliation. I'm like, this is awful.
So he talked.
I think he said something.
Words.
I know he spoke.
Man,
gosh, it was crazy.
So I don't know. I might kind of hit some of you people like from, your early days or like junior high or high school. You probably have like at your school like a main building, and then maybe it grew over the years, and you have like little trailer kind of things you'd have to walk to class. But we also had this annex. It was like they built another building off the back of the school.
Okay.
And there was like this little kind of like breezeway that went, and they had like, I don't know, I think like 4 to 8 rooms, in there for different classes. Well, I remember one time, like again, Catholic school, we had, a full uniform. Your shirts had to be tucked in. They had like a lot of rules for girls, like with like their skirt length or whatever too. But I hated tucking my shirt in. I don't know why. I just did, and I was trying to be like some little rebel without a cause, or something. And my shirt was untucked, and my Spanish 1 teacher, Senora Rude, I think I was like a junior, like I'd already like gone through her class, but we had to pick a name in our Spanish class, and I picked Mario. Just because, like, I don't know, like nostalgia.
My brother designed this. Go to check out his stuff, it'll be linked.
So I got out of like a lit class or something, and this annex, like, it was so narrow, so like all these kids just kind of like come out of their rooms, and you're kind of like clustered, and it almost feels like a mosh pit or something, like you're trying to move. But who I hear, Mario, and I look back, and it's Senora Rude, and she's like, your shirt or whatever.
Oh no.
And I was just like, oh, I'm sorry, and I just like pretended to like let the kids keep pushing me, you know what I mean? And I just like
absorbed into the mob
away.
Yeah.
She tried to run after me, but
she
couldn't get to me. But
it's like, gosh, some of those things, it's like, who cares that the shirt is untucked? I'm very much,
they're trying to make you professional, I'm sure, but...
I know, I'm very much like going against the grain right now with like, oh, you gotta be professional, it's just like, who cares? We're
all human. It's like we all put this facade on.
I know.
I mean, yes, like you want to be as authentic as you can. Some things for sure, like, have no business in the workplace or
for sure
school, but at the same time, it's just like, wow, we really spend a lot of time teetering around like who we really are. That's just kind of a funny thing, but
that's something I've been experiencing a lot, like, when you're an adult and you're in the work 40 hours a week, and you kind of have to
40
yeah, right, I know. And you have to put on this persona, and it's not necessarily fake, but it's not casual. It's not how I normally am. And you have to do it for such a big chunk of your life. And it's like, geez, this is insane that I have to just, I am a professional. I am, this person is like, gosh, who is like that? And and that's the other thing is we all know we're not like this. Like we all know, like when you go home, you act different, and it's so weird.
Yeah, for sure. The cool thing is, so you get immersed in your work, and you know what I mean? Like it becomes a backseat thing. But yeah, some of the interactions, it's just hard. You know, you gotta know what parts to, you know, conceal or whatever, if you will. But
to keep that professionalism.
Now we'll just take it full circle here. Maybe that explains why some people like to go do stuff for quick cash, you know?
Exactly.
The MrBeast effect. I don't know.
MrBeast
I'm just making that up.
will be in touch. We'll more than roommates. MrBeast collab. We'll be competing. I would pick you as a partner to compete on this stuff. We'd hype each other up.
Yeah.
For sure.
Heck
okay, well, I want to, if you guys have heard of the MrBeast controversy, I want to hear what you think.
Oh, yes. Before we wrap up, I'm thinking back. So another thing we like to do over lunch, we listen to like the tea spill sesh.
Yeah, YouTube.
Wasn't it a MrBeast controversy? We were tuning in about like a hide and seek game or something. I can't.
So he's like, the premise is very like realistic. Whatever happens. He doesn't edit his stuff or the outcomes. And it was a YouTuber hide and seek thing where like all these big YouTuber names competed, and if you won, you went to charity.
It's like Jake and Logan Paul or something.
And
a lot of other people too.
Rosanna Pansino, I think is her name. She came in third, and then they edited her to make her seem like she came like fifth, sixth, seventh, and they made like Logan Paul because he's such a big name like higher up. Also, he was like a sponsor, and like they sponsored one of his stuff. So
man, that's what.
But again, it's like
when you end up getting into a big structure with lots of other people
and moving parts,
doing, you know, working on your business, like you lose a lot of creative control if you're not doing it yourself.
Right.
Not saying that's a bad thing, but
money talks. You know, if they're a brand sponsor, things happen. So
yeah.
I don't know.
We gotta make a pact to like stay true.
Yes, but if anyone wants to sponsor us, like, I mean, wouldn't turn it down at this point. We're still waiting for that first sponsor. Anyway, if you want to sponsor us, let us know. Do a little ad read intermission, give us a break. But I think that should do it for this one. Let us know your thoughts on the MrBeast stuff. If you would compete, what game show?
Watch his stuff.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite episode or like challenge? Or what are your thoughts?
Do you think it's torture?
Yeah, exactly. Took the words right out of my mouth.
Yeah, we're on the same page, Graham. Okay, well that should do it, and thanks for watching.
Yep.
Bye.
Until next time.